in that expo, and what should small and medium enterprises expect in this particular expo, keeping in mind that KNCCI has inked a deal with United Arab Emirates. Good afternoon, Jimmy. And what is the latest from your end, especially keeping in mind 2020 seems to be the year for the small medium enterprises? Over to you, Jimmy.
Well, indeed, a very good afternoon to you too, Sarah. Actually, you have rightfully put it that earlier on we were at the KNCCI MOU signing that is between the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and the Dubai Chamber of Commerce officials, just trying to ensure that small and medium enterprise business owners can be able to access the access and set up shop in Dubai, and also just trying to make sure that in the process of doing this, they will be able to get some assistance, both at by the KNCCI office that is apparently going to be set up in Dubai and vice versa, and also just trying to ensure that the working relationship between Kenya and the UAE specifically is cordial, where Kenyans can be able to access the UAE market, and also for UAE investors to be able to access the Kenyan market. But a few minutes after that, we sort of followed one of the SME players just to come and tell us how the situation has been, and also the fact that in the previous years it has been quite a hurdle for most of them to be able to access funding, and now that the cap has been repealed, what are they looking for this year? Remember that a lot of economic outlooks that have been put out so far, they're sort of banking on the removal of the cap to sort of improve the economic growth of the company. Now I'm currently joined by Mr. Kioko, one of the business owners right here in Nairobi, and he has been a barber previously, and now he has come up with products that I'm sure the likes of our director Neville will be able to enjoy, which is the aftershave bump and bump control product, just to be able to see how will this partnership between the Kenya and the likes of Dubai, how does he sort of place himself going forward to be able to sort of access these markets, to be able to push his product outside the Kenyan market. Bwana Kioko, thank you so much for joining us and for speaking to us. Let's first of all talk about the issue of funding for SMEs. We've seen a lot of moves being made, and especially even with the president's speech recently, just saying that they're looking to sort of unclog and make sure that money gets to SMEs and to people like you, small-scale business owners. How has the process been in the past, and what are you hoping for going forward?
To be honest, my friend, I really have not seen any okay, there are efforts from the government, but on the ground things are so different. Like, for example, accessing these funds is a big challenge. You are being asked to give collaterals which you cannot afford. Of course, many Kenyans, many youth people who are starting the businesses, most of them cannot even afford a land in Nairobi or a plot in Nairobi, or even a big car enough to get them some collateral for them to get that money. So it has been so hard. We've actually gotten to personal loans to raise funds, family, and all that. And some point we even I remember there's a time that I had to stop my business for almost 6 months because I have no way to get any fund, any capital. I've walked into every facility, every government facility. There's the youth fund, there's all that. I was asked for big collaterals. These collaterals that you cannot even get. So as a normal Kenyan, it becomes hard if you cannot raise like 2 to 3 million shillings to start your job, which is what we are looking at. We are doing manufacturing in Kenya. It's a good thing and good employment. Like now for myself, I've been to 2 years now in the market with this brand called Prince Deluxe. Okay. And for those 2 years now, I've employed I have 46 people working under me right now. So I've provided employment to these people, but yet even right now, even myself, I'm still struggling with the business. I'm still struggling to make it. I'm still struggling to get capital. I'm still struggling to get anything. We are even trying to apply for investors outside, but it becomes hard.
All right, and as you rightfully said earlier on when we were speaking, you mentioned the fact that you couldn't be able to access capital within the country, and you went to an extent of looking for capital outside the Kenyan market. How successful was this, and how was the process? Were you able to get these funds?
Honestly, we are still in the process of getting. Like, we are working with a company in South Africa called Paroma Limited, Paroma VVT Limited. It is kind of like supporting us in a way, but we are almost there. We are almost getting some funds from them. But in Kenya, we have tried this for the last 4 years. And 4 years, we've not even got even a single 100,000. Come on, okay. You see, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the issue of marketing and the fact that when you look at the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and the leadership is trying to sort of make sure that you as a business person can be able to push your products outside Kenya. How are things like how in terms of the actual challenges that you are facing and how KNCCI has been trying to push for this narrative? Can you feel the impact? Can you feel some of these efforts that are being made?
To be honest, yeah, some efforts have been put. It's not like before. Companies before, you used to actually just rely on your pocket, but right now can see they are somehow like pushing it. Though we haven't yet seen the results yet. The results are not with us yet. The results are the people who are benefiting are the rich yet, not the beginners, not the small business people who come up with a brand like this. They start from the ground. They have nothing. They don't have checks of money from family or whatever. They are just going to look from their own pockets, speak small loans from employment, and all that. But honestly, maybe it will work in future. We're hoping.
Okay, and indeed that's a good place. So in terms of going forward, let's talk about the cost of production and for you as a Kenyan manufacturer and the fact that government has been talking about putting in place sentiments to make it easier for you to produce some of these products, and the fact that currently as you speak you have over 40 people who fully depend on the company and the success of your product. In terms of the sentiments that the government has been speaking of, are these things being implemented?
The government, let me say, the government has a good initiative. Like they have good plans for us. Yeah. The problem is implementing. When I heard about the youth fund, I thought that they will actually look at people who are really needy for these funds. But what is happening? What are we looking at? What is happening? Yeah. If you can afford a BMW worth 5 million, then you can afford 5 million to start a business. But this person who cannot afford 100,000 shillings, okay, it becomes a challenge. Yeah. So this person is not being helped. They have the ideas, yes. They have very good products, yes. They want to do better in Kenya, yes. Yeah. But they are not being helped.
Well, indeed, thank you very much, Bwana Kioko and Sarah. Yes, these are some of his products that he says are sort of made and manufactured right here in the country, and they're looking forward to ensure that it gets to the Kenyan market and becomes a household brand, and also, if possible, to be able to push the brand even outside the country. And again, like the issue of funding, Sarah, is still a big challenge for most of these SMEs, and even as the government speaks of all these measures that they are putting in place and revamping the economy, the issue still remains the same, that these things are not being felt by the small-scale business owners. Sarah?
Jimmy, before I let you go, one more question. When it comes to manufacturing sector, what are investors saying about the manufacturing sector, and also knowing that they want to compete with the global markets out there? How are they planning to go about this, for the fact that these are small, medium enterprises and they're not yet fully grown? How will they be able to compete? Has Kenya National Chamber of Commerce put ways for them to be able to have a competitive edge against other countries?
Well, so Sarah, during his presentation, what the president of the KNCCI, that is Mr. Richard Ngatia, spoke about is the fact that they are looking to sort of ensure that small-scale business owners like Mr. Kioko, who we've just spoken to, can be able to sort of match their brands and look at what the international and these global brands are making, and sort of compare their products and what are currently out there in the market. And for him, he tells us he's been working with a South African company to sort of make sure that his product is actually of the same quality with what is being out there in the market. And he's actually talked about some of his plans earlier on the side, and he was just telling me some of the plans that he has in terms of growing his brand. And the biggest challenge, Sarah, is also the issue of cost, and the fact that the issue of manpower has been quite keen, and especially for some of their products. And also you will remember that we saw a lot of companies last year not being able to sustain their manpower because of the issues of funding and the issue of the economic downturn that we had seen last year. year. But in terms of them being able to make, to be empowered to sort of issue products that are at par with every other product in the market, the KNCCA has been very big on this. They're saying they've taken people out for training. They will continue working with other companies and other major brands out there to ensure that they empower the Kenyans that are doing different kind of businesses to be able to play at the same level with these global brands.
Okay, thank you very much, Jimmy Mbogoh, and I hope they will be able to sort out the funding for these small and medium enterprises for them to have a competitive edge. But before we continue with business, let's